All right, ladies and gentlemen, here is a video from Patriot Nurse. Check this out.
Hey folks, it's Patriot Nurse. I just want to talk with you guys about what's going on in the economy and just share with you some of my thoughts and what I've heard from people and just the input that I am getting. And a lot of this really has to do with the changes in the housing market and also what's happening to people and their purchasing powers. They are literally watching their savings being eroded and watching themselves run a treadmill to nowhere, not being able to save for a house and not being able to pay for basic things. Our economy is at a crisis point. And really, I'm covering this because I want to ask you guys what you're seeing, what you're thinking, and also, do you think that the tariffs are going to help the economy fundamentally, or is there something else going on here? Let's get started. This video is definitely impromptu. I'm just kind of collecting my thoughts here, and as I was working on something else, I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna talk to my peeps. I'm gonna talk to my peeps and see what you guys are doing, what you're thinking. In Tennessee, which is where I'm from, I'm an 11th generation East Tennessean. We have seen some really crazy stuff happen in our housing and the affordability of our housing. And I was looking up some numbers and some figures over the past few hours, and it just kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. In 1970, the median purchase price for a home was $23,000. When you look at what it is now, the median house purchase price is roughly $400,000.
Yeah, and I had commented on her video as well. I said, you can't even buy a brand new Toyota Corolla for $23,000. Not to my knowledge.
When you compare that to the wage growth of median household income in 1970 versus what it is now, the cost to put a roof over your head, basic shelter, has become unaffordable for the majority of households. And when I say households, I'm talking about a man and a woman hustling, having to pay for their kids' child care. Because remember, you can only deduct about, what is it, $600 a year
Two
per
people
child.
working.
I think with a maximum of $1,200 a year. Regardless, if you are hustling as a husband and wife, trying to pay for childcare so that you can go and slave away to pay taxes, to have 20 to 30%, or God knows how much of it is, to have your taxes taken away, there ain't.
And when she says slave away, that is the case for most people. They are slaving away. Starvation wages and paying taxes. You'll hear her talk about the devaluation of the dollar soon, since, well, just pay attention to what she says regarding the devaluation of the dollar since the year 2000. Okay, check this out.
No room to save for a down payment, particularly a down payment on a house that you can't afford. So one of the things that's happened here in Tennessee, in some counties in Tennessee, housing has tripled since COVID. Since 2020, the cost of housing has tripled. What we are experiencing here in Tennessee is what I'm sure a lot of y'all are experiencing all over the country, and that is, I have never seen so many people. First off, I've never seen so many tents pitched on the side of the road at intersections. I've never seen the level of homelessness in East Tennessee as what I'm seeing right now.
It's true, it's
And not just
everywhere.
that, this is just what I can visibly see of homelessness. The number of people that I am aware of who are.
Did you know that Amazon has a $50 million fund that they have to pay out every month? And here's how you
No,
can
I
get a cut
didn't,
of it.
and I don't care.
Struggling
I'm sure
to
neither do you.
pay for not only groceries, forget groceries, that's already on credit cards. And now they have apps to give you short term loans to pay for.
Guys, people, I personally know people that have had to get uh, loans for groceries and for regular living expenses. It's sad. And these people are stressing out. I'm not kidding you. They're full of anxiety. Um, I know a single mother that is going through this. I mean, and she's like, I don't know if I'm going to have a place to live. What happens if I don't have a place to live? And I told her, I said, hey, listen, no friend of mine is ever going to go homeless. So, but with that said, just this is a powerful video, guys. This is happening to a lot of people. It's affecting everyone. Everyone. I don't care who you are. You're not going to be unscathed by this. You are not going to be unaffected.
For groceries. The number of people that I'm seeing right now who are on a knife edge of homelessness is very concerning. And this is not something, for instance, like people like
That
to crap
close.
talk to millennials and say, oh, you guys eat too much avocado toast or whatever. Listen, y'all, there ain't enough avocado toast and Netflix subscriptions that you can cut from a budget to make up for this chasm of deficit in what it is costing people to put a roof over their heads. There's a lot that's fundamentally broken. And when you come right down to it, I'm not sure that this is something President Trump can fix outside of doing two things: abolishing the Fed or abolishing income tax. When you look at what's happening to the purchasing power
Honestly, I think both need to happen. Check out what she's about to say.
of our dollar since 1970, I mean, it's taken a nosedive. Hell, in 2000, since 2000, your dollar has lost half of its purchasing value.
Half.
So people like to crap talk the millennials, but let's say, for instance, that you are an older millennial and you, for instance, started into the workforce in year 2000. If you were a good and wise person and you worked hard and you hustled and you saved with an average paying job, any money that you've saved in the bank has lost half of its purchasing value since then. So how is it that you're expected to be able to afford a house and a down payment?
Exactly. And, a lot of people want to blame the young generation. Oh, they're lazy. They just don't want to work. They don't have any ambition. Whatever, whatever. Sure, there's people out there like that, but the large majority of them have been disincentivized. You need to have incentives to be motivated. People need incentives to be motivated.
Most people ain't got it. Most
Bottom
people in
line.
the United States can't even write a check to cover $500 right now, let alone save up $80, $90, $100,000 for a 20% down payment for a standard starter home, which in 2020 would have cost you $198,000 to $200,000 in some areas. It's insane. I've never seen anything like it. Here's the challenge that we're facing now, and let me know what you think about this, guys. Now that we're dealing with all the tariffs, right, that President Trump's administration has put in, you can argue, of course, that it's going to be a short-term law.
And I'm sure President Bush would have said, turfs. Got to deal with them turfs.
Loss, short-term pain, long-term gain. Here's the thing. You can't have people paying both income tax and paying tariffs and having their purchasing value devalued
Yes,
by
ma'am. You are correct.
50%. And
Yeah.
oh, by the way, having 7 to 12 million illegals being brought in, which are A, putting downward pressure on their wage growth for labor, and B, increasing the cost of housing by increasing demand. This is the problem when you have not 3 things, but 4 things suffocating people, like strangling people. People talk about, for instance, the millennials, oh, they're just ne'er-do-wells and they don't want to start families. Listen, is it responsible for a millennial to start a family when they can't pay for a roof over their head, when they can't pay for groceries, and they have a 40-hour job a week plus 2 side hustles, and their wife's working too, and they're paying for daycare, and their child is...
And listen, guys, I got to add this here. When you have a society where people have to have side hustles, and one job is no longer enough, and you've got to ask yourself questions like, why is it that these payday advanced places are surviving and thriving? Something is wrong with your society when entire empires can be built off of people having to get payday advances. Guys, that's freaking ridiculous.
being raised by people who are charging exorbitantly to neglect them. I mean, this is
Especially in
evil
the
stuff.
USA.
And what is the source of this? Fiat currency. Our money is being devalued.
Right there.
And the only
That's
way
it.
that I see out of this is a complete reset.
Yep.
We can't dig our way out of this debt that we have incurred.
Nope.
The thing is, the Gen Zers, they didn't vote for this. The older millennials, maybe some of them voted for it. But the monetary policy that's been put in there and the entitlements that they're being taxed to subsidize, they didn't vote for any of this. The stuff that came in with FDR, the entitlements on the Ponzi scheme, that is Social Security and all these other social programs, this is robbing the generation of natural-born American citizens' capability to have families. So here's the thing. What happens when they ain't got no food? What happens when they ain't got no home? Do you think they're going to have children to subsidize the growth and the payment of this Ponzi scheme?
Nope.
No way. Social Security is going to be defunct. And then what? Now we've got a moral issue here. This generation, we haven't even brought, that's the fifth point here. This generation that has seen the purchasing value of their dollar drop 50% since 2000. This generation that's had stagnant wage growth. And this generation that has experienced a significant increase in cost of housing and the devaluation of their dollar. Now they're being taxed for things that they're never going to recoup. Social Security, I'm never going to see it. So why in the world would these same people be incentivized to have children? The whole thing's...
That's right, guys. Like, I often think the same thing, and you should be thinking the same thing. Every time you pay Social Security in your paycheck, you're never going to see that back. You're never going to see that back. You're being robbed, and it's generational. It's because of the generation we're in.
going to collapse, friends. The whole thing is going to collapse. And when
The
it does,
whole thing.
who's going to be left holding the bag? You and me and anybody else who has fiat currency.
Her,
That's God's
you,
honest truth.
me,
So if we're holding
everybody.
fiat currency then, in the form of dollars, how in the world are we supposed to shield against this? Well, firstly, you have to take a second and take a breath and remind yourself that the Lord laughs at the plans of men. And he sits on the throne. But at the same time, it's in the book of Proverbs. Know your flocks. Know the status of your flocks. Be wise about these things. And don't
That's
expect that somehow somebody in Washington's going to wave a magic wand and fix all this. That ain't going to happen, y'all.
That's right.
So if that's the case, how do we diversify against this? Well, you could diversify, for instance, in various different ways. I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not giving advice per se. I'm just thinking out loud here. One thing I do know, if you stay in United States dollars or anything that's denominated in United States dollars, you're going to get burned. And my generation...
Burned to a crisp. And don't think that gold and silver are going to keep you safe. That's not the case, guys.
It's already been burned. I'm, one of these people myself that was trying to be wise and save up and be disciplined about things. And I felt like as soon as you got to a point where you could put a down payment on a house or a property, doubled overnight or tripled in the case of Tennessee. Tripled.
Yep.
And how can you, for instance, as someone who has saved in United States dollars and worked your whole life and saved according to, for instance, Tennessee wages and Tennessee cost of living, you can't compete against somebody coming in here for out of state. No way. So what does that mean? That means native Tennessee.
The same thing is happening here in Florida, guys. Like, we've had a huge influx of people during and just after COVID for like so many months after COVID. Maybe it might have been about a year or two after, but yeah, a huge influx of people into the state of Florida, which it's starting to level off now, but it just rose rental prices up. It rose the cost of housing up as far as buying one, right? For people that were already here. And if you look at the median salary or median wage for the state of Florida, it's not all that high for the people already living here. So that made it even all the more unaffordable for those of us that were already living in Florida. So crazy times.
And native people are being impoverished because of out-of-state money coming in. And if you saved in dollars, then you're getting eaten alive. What we are seeing is the most heinous destruction of our way of life and our standard of living. It's to such a degree that I really wonder whether or not that our grandparents would have even considered fighting in World War I from the very beginning if they knew that this was going to be the inevitable casualty.
She's right. Yep. She's right, guys.
So the question is, what do we do? In my opinion, you have to diversify away from the dollar, which I have done. And the thing is, unless we have a total reset on the financial system, this is not going to get fixed. And the thing is, friends, even if we do have a total reset on the system, we're not going back to the days of transacting in silver and gold. As much as people, including myself, as people want desperately for that to be the case, we ain't going back to transacting in silver for a meal at a restaurant or transacting in silver for lumber. It's not going to happen.
Nope.
On a massive scale.
You're not going to get pancakes
if
with
I
silver.
was to tell you, for instance,
or gold.
speaking about the change in monetary system and a total overhaul of it. If I was to tell you in 1990, hey, there's this thing called the internet, you probably heard about it, what you think is just the purview of nerds right now, that's going to govern pretty much every mechanism and mode of payment and of transaction for your entire way of life in 30 years. If I was to tell you that, how would you have taken that news back then? I know how I would have taken it. I'd have been like, well, first off, I was really young, but still, I'd have been like, you mean I'm gonna have to pay for my lunch at school with something I can't see?
If you are the owner or manager
Exactly, yes.
of a building with a flat top roof, then please pay close attention to this short video.
So what is going to end up happening, friends, is there is going to be a reset. And there's going to be a massive wealth transfer, probably 3 different ways. One, from big guys to bigger guys, and from little people who don't understand math to big people who do understand math. 2, there's going to be a transfer of wealth intergenerationally in real estate, for sure. And then 3, there's going to be a transfer of wealth from people who do not understand the change that the monetary system is going to undergo to those who do. And cryptocurrencies are going to continue to be part of this. Now, whether or not you choose to believe that, that's up to you. But it is going to be a thing. It already is a thing. The back ends of the banking system and transfers inside banking system to a great degree are already governed a lot by cryptocurrency. And that's only going to be increasing, particularly because verifying payments is becoming that much more critical in the internet age in which we live. Friends,
Yep.
what we're
That's
facing
correct.
right now is the American dream has become a dystopian nightmare. And you can't keep squeezing people and suffocating people and strangulating people to the degree that people are experiencing here in the United States. Really, all
Yeah, that's right. I hear a lot of people say that the American dream has become the American nightmare. Um, and other people say things like, it's called the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it.
all over the world, there is going to be massive chaos and disruption
Can't argue
internationally.
with that.
Question is, do you think that President Trump's initiatives are going to be a cure-all for this? I personally don't. I think they can mitigate things. I think they can ameliorate suffering to a limited degree, but they're not going to fundamentally transfer sickness into wellness from an unstable and insolvent monetary system. The only thing that can do that is the dissolution of the Federal Reserve and a return of our
That's right.
currency to something that is stable and non-inflatable. So, friends, what do you think?
100%.
Have you heard this? Have you heard about people being on the knife edge of homelessness? Have you?
Oh, it's everywhere. And I can tell you that I've talked to financial people, and one of the common things they all say is that the dollar needs to be put back on, either the gold standard, it needs to be backed by something tangible, right? Something you can actually touch. That will help the dollar regain value and stabilize. I mean,
Heard your family.
even if they don't use the U.S. dollar anymore, even if they ended up introducing a new currency, it has to be backed by something tangible that is stable.
Family members talk about the inability to afford housing to save up for things, let me know in the comments below. I'm just thinking through things with the rest of y'all. And one thing I do know is that in times of uncertainty and in times of inflation, the people who hold commodities and things that can actually meet their needs for their everyday activities of daily living, those people tend to do well. But another thing is you have to be able to take care of your family's needs across those activities of daily living. And to that end, beans, bullets, and Band-Aids are the commodities associated with preparing
Triple B, baby, triple B. Beans, bullets, and Band-Aids.
for your activities of daily living. But when it comes to the skills associated with your activities of daily living, you're talking food propagation, beans, bullets is self-defense, and then Band-Aids is medical care. And this is something that has been, of course, affected greatly by the devaluation of our money. The cost of healthcare has gotten insane. Now, Obamacare was a big part of that as well. But the
Same.
other thing to consider is that we are losing qualified care providers as they retire. And then also people are not able to afford their insurance premiums. So one of the reasons why I created the online courses that I have, the 4-hour course and the 7-hour course, is that, for instance, with the 4-hour course, if that course saves you from one trip to the doctor, it paid for itself. And the 7-hour course, the herbal preparedness course, That also saves you an incredible amount of money too if it keeps you from going into the system unnecessarily. So here's the thing,
That's
friends.
right.
Investing in yourself is a smart move, no matter what you do. But being able to take care of your family's needs is going to save you money and save you concern and save you a lot of frustration and anxiety and worry over the grand scheme of things. So one of the things that I'm personally doing is I'm investing in myself and in my continuing education. This is part of my due diligence as an instructor, but also this is part of the way that I shield myself from these realities. The more that you know and the more that you can provide your own services, the better position you're going to be, regardless of what's getting thrown at you.
My people perish for a lack of knowledge.
So friends, I hope this video was helpful for y'all. Please share this with one person who you know will be benefited from it if you did get value from it. And make sure to leave me a comment below as well. I want to know what you guys are thinking and feeling and really what you're seeing on the ground level. Are you seeing the housing affordability in your area get better, or is it getting worse? What are people's general financial situations like that you talk to day to day? Most people that I don't know anybody who is doing better now than they were 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know a single person who's doing better. I know people are getting pressed in like a vice grip financially now.
Yep.
Am I the only one? Maybe you have something different in your experience. Please leave me a comment below. Friends, I hope this video was a blessing to y'all. Just me sharing my thoughts with you. I hope you all have a very blessed week. For now, it's Patriot Nurse signing off, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.
Well, guys, she is one of the coolest chicks I have ever known. I've got to tell you, she's super intelligent, super insightful. I love the way she talks about the Constitution and contained there within the Bill of Rights and so on. Go check out her channel. I'm going to leave a link below the video to her video here. And then, of course, you can check out her channel from there. I would highly suggest subscribing to her channel. All right, guys, listen, have a great evening. God bless you. And we will be back soon. And just one last message I wanted to add, guys, is that just remember that we have to stick together as a population, we the people. We've got to stop allowing them to divide and conquer us. We've got to stop allowing ourselves to be distracted by all the things of the world and focus on what is going to make things the best. What is going to be the best outcome for we the people? Anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. The lighting is getting a little, I don't have my lighting set up, so I'm just going off the natural lighting coming in the sliders there. So it's starting to get a little dark. So you guys have an awesome evening. Like I said, check out her channel and be thinking of ways that we can all do things to stick together, right? Think of things that we can all do to not only help one another out, but improve our society as a whole, okay? All right, guys. See you soon and have an awesome night.